I would also like to introduce our friend Lauren, and she is going to be our author spotlight today. So, Miss Lauren, if you would come up here, and we want to hear about some of the stuff going on.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be back up here again. Speaking of showers, I have a sister-in-law. My husband is the youngest of 6 children, all 5 girls, and he's the youngest, the only boy. Spoiled rotten. I got him, and he's worthless. But one of his sisters has been married 5 times, and she says, I love getting married. I just don't like being married. So she definitely believes in wedding showers. I want to thank Matt. I want to give him a real quick shout out. Those of y'all who've not done this author spotlight, he sent me such a lovely list of questions, ideas, things to talk about, and it was just really appreciated. I was like, I can do this. I had hoped to have a lot of visual aids today, but darn it, I had to go to Corpus Christi this past week and spend the week on the beach. So the visual aids got pushed by the wayside. Sorry, we'll just talk it through. I actually had a point that I wanted to make today, and y'all know me that it's very difficult for me to stay on point. So I actually wrote down some of the things that I wanted to share with you, because I did kind of have something I've been feeling strongly about that I wanted to share with you guys. I am Lauren Cassel Brownell. By day, I am the Director of Marketing and Communications at Texas Tech University. By night, well, we're just not going to talk about that, but that's my day job. Recently, one of the things that has been very time-consuming and has kept me from writing, I just finished a very intensive 10-week course in which I became a certified digital marketing scientist. Ooh. Best use of my time and money that I have done in a long time. This is the way the world is going. I've been in marketing my entire career, and that's been a while. The world has changed so dramatically. I started out in the newspaper business back when we had newspapers, and so the world has definitely changed. And taking that course, again, I think it is so beneficial. I think it's something that I know it's going to benefit me in my day job. I hope to be able to put together a presentation here in the next few months to share some of the things that I've learned about digital marketing. I think that as writers, we focus a lot on book marketing platforms, and I think there's a huge opportunity for us to make our stand in the bigger social media world. It's just a very exciting time. You don't have to be crazy about AI. You don't have to sell your soul to the devil to utilize social media and digital marketing. So that's one of the best things I've done for myself, and I think for my career and my writing life lately. Okay, back to business. See, I got off track. Okay, I've been doing a lot of soul searching lately, so this may be a different author spotlight than you guys are used to. I'm not here to sell anything. I'm not here to tell you about my latest work. Okay, maybe a little bit about my latest work. I am finally making headway on republishing Zen and the Art of Housekeeping. When I last spoke with you guys a year and a half ago, when I really got introduced to this group and came as a speaker and found my people, I was in discussions with Simon & Schuster. This book was originally published traditionally through Simon & Schuster. I was in discussions with them at the time to do a second edition possibly through them. That fell through because they couldn't find a Zen housekeeping influencer to write a new foreword. Duh. I'm the Zen housekeeping influencer. I'm not, it's not something that's out there. But I was like a little disappointed, but really not, because it gave me the opportunity. I now have this book. It is mine to do with what I want to do as I self-publish it. And I'm really, really, really excited about that opportunity. I've had a new cover designed. It has been formatted for print. I'm waiting for the EPUB files to get it out there in the world. But then I'm getting to do some really cool stuff that I wouldn't have gotten to do if it had been traditionally published. I am doing a workbook to go along with, to be a companion piece to this. This book has exercises at the end of every chapter. It has try this, think about this. So I've pulled all those things out and I've put them into a workbook format and put lots of thought-provoking quotes, concepts. How do you feel about your life? How do you feel about your stuff? And I think that's going to be a really, really nifty thing to go along with this book. Really excited about that. And then throughout this book, I have breakout boxes, and they have different subjects. One is Buddha says, that is Buddhist quotes. One is living one with nature. And so the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out all the living one with nature sections. It's basically recipes to make your own cleaning products from stuff that's lying around your house. Vinegar, baking soda, I mean, these are the best cleaning tools out there. And so I pulled all those sections out, and I'm doing basically a little cookbook of green cleaning recipes. And I'm going to utilize that as a reader magnet on my website. Download your Living One with Nature cookbook after you sign up for my newsletter. So I'm really excited to have the opportunity to do some neat, different things that kind of were always in my mind. But as long as it was Simon & Schuster calling the shots, I wasn't free to do that. So I really don't mind at all. My relationship with Simon & Schuster was wonderful. Traditional publishing for me was great. But I'm glad to have this back in my hands to make it what I want it to be. So that's really exciting. I am also, the last time we visited, I talked about traditional versus self-publishing. The jury was still out on Wild Lark Books. The jury is in. That was one of the worst mistakes I ever made in my entire life. And if anybody has any affiliation with Wild Lark Books at this point, run, don't walk. Get out. If anybody needs to talk with me further after this, they are certainly...
Counseling sessions with Lauren.
Absolutely, I would be more than happy. Honestly, the downfall of that relationship really did put me into a state of real writer's block. I was like, I felt really bad after things happened. And it took me a while to want to get back in the game. It took me a while to want to write again. It took me a while to think about trusting people that were wanting to give me advice. So I am available for counseling. If anybody's had a difficult relationship with Wild Lark Books, I would be more than happy to share all my experiences. The one thing I felt bad about was that I stood up here and said, no, everything's gone pretty well for me. I mean, and then the plane hit the fan. So that's that. But the joy of that is I also have back the rights to Dying to Donate, and I am also ready to republish this book again and do what I want with it and make it what I want it to be. So that's a very, very good, positive thing. Okay, so this is kind of where the soul searching comes in. Have I already gone past 10 minutes about this? Okay. So it's 10 minutes, I'm like, I can't say my name. Okay, so I was beating my head against the wall. I was trying to force myself to write the next book, the sequel to Dying to Donate. I have a title. It's called Sigma Delta Die.
Oh my.
All of these take place on a university campus because I kept saying to myself, somebody ought to write a book about this, and so I said it might as well be me. So all of these take place on a West Texas college campus that is not Texas Tech. I had a big idea where I wanted Harbor Fox, my main character, to go, but I was miserable. I thought back over the 5 years that it took me to slog through writing Dying to Donate. It wasn't fun. I didn't really enjoy it. What was fun was zipping off a quick essay on a season of American Horror Story and having it published in Drunk Monkey's literary magazine. It is true. I can now say that I have been published by Drunk Monkeys, and that's one of the great joys of my life. Writing a food column was fun. I wrote a food column for the Jacksonville Times-Union, one of the biggest newspapers in Florida. This was one of my first assignments, No Ordinary Easter. I got to go around to businesses and talk about unique Easter foods one year. I got to write about meals that I enjoyed. I got to write about books that talked about food. And I got to just share my thoughts directly with readers about real things that were happening to me, real things that had moved me. This one was airline's decision upsets her stomach. Continental will begin charging for food on domestic flights. I'm dating myself because you know how long ago that was that they first charged for food. But I was pissed, you know, I was not a happy camper. But it was so great to be able to just talk about those things. Eating clean for a good cause. You know, I got to talk about anything and everything. One of my favorite food columns was, what are your essential ingredients? There's a book, Essential Ingredients, by, I don't want to say it wrong, Erica Baumeister. One of my favorite books of all time, The School of Essential Ingredients. And it talked about, it was this group of people that came together for cooking classes, and they discovered all these things about themselves. What are your essential ingredients? And one of my very favorite food columns that I got to write. I also, and I'm really not joking about the Drunk Monkeys, it really is a literary magazine now. And I really did publish an article about American commercial. I did a lot of writing for parenting magazines. I started doing this when I was younger and had small children. And I wrote a lot about this newfangled thing that was affecting parents so profoundly at the time, which was social media. It was just coming onto the scene. And I was like, this is going to change the way we parent. And so this article appeared in Miami Family Magazine, Media Psychology for Moms, you know, tips to get a handle on your kids' use of social media. And I really leaned into that for a long time because it affected every aspect of my life as a mom and my children's lives. I have published in Canada. Calgary Child is one of my favorite markets that I've published in. So I'm an international writer, you know, which I do put on my resume, of course, you know, international author. But those things were really, really fun. I have also written 2 short plays that have both been produced here at local community theaters. You've not lived until you've seen an actor speak your words. It's just amazing. Both of my plays are, for the most part, really autobiographical. I think so much of the work that we write, and we call it fiction, is because we need to get something off our chests. And so we see ourselves there. So it was profound. I realized that I didn't really feel like focusing on the sequel to Dying to Donate. I felt like focusing on the sequel to Sin and the Art of Housekeeping, a book that I wrote almost 20 years ago. And I'm a totally different person than I was then. And yet when I'm strung out, when I don't know what to do, when I don't know what the answers are, I still find myself at my kitchen sink washing dishes, which is where I first had the idea for that book. So the feelings that I felt then are the same feelings that I have now. It's trying to make order out of chaos. And that just, I don't know, it just resonated with me so much that that was what I wanted to be working on right now, was how, almost 20 years later, am I still trying to make order out of chaos, even though the world has changed and become maybe even more chaotic than we could have imagined. So I was very inspired by Dee Burks, our speaker last month. I just thought she was amazing, and I walked out here fired up. I was ready to take on the world. She gave us an outline. Every nonfiction book, here's the things, here's what the different chapters should be. You ask 3 questions in each, you write 1,000 words on each. I was like, I can do that. And so now I have this great outline, and I'm forging ahead with the sequel to Zen and the Art of Housekeeping. The title of the sequel is The Existential Vacuum Sucks. I'm hoping the Drunk Monkeys will maybe serialize it or something. I've known that was the title of this book since I wrote this one, but I never captured the motivation, the spirit of what I wanted to say, and now I have. And so it's fun to get up and write again. It's a joy to be focused on this. I also brought out an old project that had lain dormant, and I'm really, really excited about it. It's called The Drama Mama's Guide to Life. I raised not one but 2 theater kids. I myself was a theater kid. I am an actress as well as a writer, as well as a marketing professional, as well as a mom, as well as a wife. And I felt like there were a lot of people whose kids get into theater and they just didn't know anything. And it's like, I can help these people. You know, I can tell them kind of some of the ins and outs. It's how to help support your child, be artistic, be involved in the arts, and you not turn into a stage mother, because stage mother is a 4-letter word. We don't want that. And so the Drama Mama's Guide to Life is really just kind of a how-to manual, how to be a good supporter of your creative children without turning into a monster. I am now going to write the sequel to that, and it's going to be The Sports Mom. I did that too, and I think there's a good market for a sports mom book. How to be supportive of your kids and not get kicked out, not wrestle a referee to the ground. I mean, there's some important tips, I think, that are going to be there. But yeah, that's going to be a short project. I may sell it for 99 cents. It's just something that I want to put out in the world because I think it can help people. I've got several essays in various stages of development. I'll submit them to magazines. I'll submit them to literary journals. Maybe I'll create a collection of essays to publish someday. But I'm in love with writing again. It feels good when something that meant so much to you for so long and it just kind of dies on the vine for whatever reason. I mean, I felt kind of lost. It's like I really don't know what to do with these thoughts that are in my head, you know. So getting them out in whatever format. I truly do believe that truth is stranger than fiction, and that's why I love it. I recently read a quote from Tom Clancy who said the difference between fiction and reality, fiction has to make sense. A wonderful novel I just finished and I recommend highly is called Home by Penny Parks. And a character in there said, this was no time to shy away from her innate talents and experiences. This was the time to embrace everything she had learned and to finally have the courage to share it. And that's where I am. I finally have the courage to share it. I did not mean for this to become counseling session. I'm almost done. Not everyone was meant to write the great American novel, or even to write novels at all, and that does not make them less of a writer. It makes them true to themselves. So I guess for my author spotlight today, I want to shine a light on not being afraid to try something different, not being afraid to be true to yourself, not being afraid to switch directions halfway through your journey, write short, write in a different genre, listen to the writer in your head and in your heart, and that is where you will find the truth for yourself as a writer, even if that truth is stranger